Now let's go ahead and take a look at some good examples and some personal case studies from my archive. Okay, and there's a few broad categories that we're going to want to look at here. So let's kind of go through these, and I got a few of these, and each one is going to have several examples. So in the first type, the first category of ensuing interaction, I'm going to show you ones where the girl messaged me first. Now again, when the girl messages you first, you can actually dispense with a lot of the back and forth, and you can kind of just go for it. And in fact, in a lot of cases, the girl herself will actually end up suggesting the date almost right off the bat. Now, this does not happen all the time. When it does, it's fantastic. And again, you'll get this a lot if you're visiting her profile, letting her see you visit, if you're using the quick match feature and your profile rating. That can actually solicit these. But when you see it, you need to know that it's time to dispense with the fucking ass grabbery, the excessive banter, and pretty much just go right for it. So let's have a look at a couple of these. This first chick, she messaged me out of the blue, and she says, "Hey, I thoroughly enjoyed reading your profile. It was sorry and funny, whatever, and you just seem like an awesome guy. Nice. I'd like to learn more about you. How long have you been in the city? Are you liking it?" So again, you get something like this. This is basically an easy alley-oop, okay? This is like a slam dunk, some kind of basketball analogy, but it's very good. So you can cut the crap. So I answer her question. I've lived here for 18 years, but I travel a lot. And then boom, bring it straight to the date. Like, I believe I should like to take you for a romantic date featuring magic in the mist. I would like that. When are you free? Gives the number. Well, I'm free tonight. I'll text you. This is my number. And I drop mine. Really? It's like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm looking forward to it. So again, this is pretty much the epitome of the DTF interaction on OkCupid or Tinder for that matter. And you need to recognize that when you see this, it's time to cut the crap and just slam it through the funnel like immediately, right? If she's super enthusiastic about it right off the bat, and you read her profile, and she seems cool, she looks hot, and she's not some kind of idiot or a crazy person. Well, maybe if it's a crazy person, but just go for it. Just boom, boom, mention the date, give the number, take it to the phone. Okay, so let's check out the next one. So this girl starts with a compliment. "Dimples, great shoulders, and a sense of humor. I bet you're a real drag to be around." I'm like, "I'm shy." A little humor. So now I know you have dimples, great shoulders, sense of humor, and you're a liar. When are we doing activities? Bam, I bring the date. "I'd like to take you for a romantic date." She says, "I'll need specifics, der." I say, "Get drunk." Like, again, the bare minimum effort to get to the next step here, right? Very little qualification or even like elaboration going on here. It's like, "Your courtship skills are phenomenal," and she gives her number right here in her name. Okay, this one along similar lines. She says, "Well, hello there, fine sir. What are you doing this fine day? Any interest in possibly partaking in either a caffeinated or slightly more adult beverage?" Why not both at once? "Today or some other time, perhaps, whenevs." I say, "I find this prospect quite scintillating and tempting at the same time. Tell me more about this. Where you be at? I would love the opportunity to take you for a romantic time featuring magic in the mist." So again, I riff on what she said a little, and then boom, bring up the fantastical romantical date. Okay, she's like, "Ooh, magic and mist. I'm enthralled at the very notion. What are you doing this afternoon?" "I fancy a glass of bubbly, followed by various cocktails, party times, maybe some sun. Who knows? The opportunities are endless, dear sir. Headed to Oakland. P.S. I have a rather strong inclination to cuddle your kittens, wink. Not actually a euphemism, but I think we could make it into one." Now, this is hardcore. I mean, so I just ignore this. Again, this is almost like a shit test. Probably not. She probably just really wants to bone, but I don't want to fall into that trap of being like, yeah, cuddle the kittens, herder, ha ha ha, yeah, cuddle the kittens, yeah, like all overexcited about it. Again, I just ignore that shit. That can be, the cuddling of the kittens can take place once we're on the fucking date. All right, so I have a doctor appointment at 2, but after that I'm free. Shoot me a text and drop my number. I'm in the Mission. You were probably able to tell that by my haircut. I had the mullet at the time. Very hipstery. Shall we possibly meet in the Mission then? Maybe Puerto for Le Margaritas? And in fact, we did actually end up meeting up at Puerto Alegre for margaritas, and followed by sexaritas. I don't think that's a thing, but it should be. So anyway, again, it was interesting because this just came right out of the blue. Look, I mean, this is all the same day, right? So it's interesting because a lot of times you'll be working all your different, message threads and girls on your phone and on the internet. But then one will just bang, like come out of the fucking blue and just hit you up, and then you meet her like in an hour after that, and it's fucking awesome, right? And these do happen from time to time. Certainly nothing you'd want to rely on, but especially if you're working volume, which is of course one of the 4 pillars of the program, if you're working that volume, this will come up sometimes fairly frequently. So anyway, this next girl, she asks, "Are you really a karaoke champion? If so, did you get a trophy, and what did it look like?" There was no trophy. The prize was $23.50, and I was actually unable to collect it, as by the time they announced the winner, I had already left to go huff Whippets. True story. If you could have bought yourself, if you had, you could have bought yourself some more Whippets. Whippets good. Well, she's an inhalant abuser, so that's fantastic. And so, bam, like, she hit me up, and then sometimes I'll do this too. If I just want to keep the ball rolling a bit, then I'll just hit her back with my prefab message. "Well, I feel you appear attractive and consequently would like to explore." She's like, "My life could always use more awesomes. I certainly could benefit from more people exposing themselves to me." So again, this is good to go. I'm like, let's go on the fucking date. Awesome message. Let's go on a fucking date. Let's go on a fucking date. Awesome message. Let's. Like, when I say let's go on a fucking date, it's kind of like, it's a very nonchalant thing, because like a guy who cared probably wouldn't say that, you know, like, "Oh, accompany me." Sometimes I will say the formal, "Accompany me on the romantic date," and all that shit. Sometimes it's like this juxtaposition of styles, so it's kind of interesting. So she's like, "Awesome message, let's." I go, "What's your number for romance arrangement purposes?" Bang. She hits me with it, hits me back with it. Okay, now this is interesting, this one, because I actually was in London, or in the UK. I was staying in Brighton for like a couple weeks. And a lot of times when I'm traveling, what I'll do is I'll actually hit up girls on OkCupid and Tinder while I'm, you know, in other countries or, you know, other states, what have you. And before I even go, I'll change my city to the city that my destination city, and then I'll actually be hitting up leads and generating leads and kind of already working through the funnel a bit before I get there. So when I land, I'm ready to hit the ground running. So this chick, she's like, she just actually messaged me though out of the blue, and she's like, "Holy shit, your profile and photo comments made me laugh so much. I just did a little wee. Kind of had a pap day at work. I usually love it, and your profile made me laugh a lot. Thank you." That's my terrible British accent. I'm like, "I see. Well, I'd love to take you for a romantic date in the night. I love your look. It's hot." So it's a ridiculous compliment. Bring up the date. Again, very man to woman just from the beginning. Something like this, bam, straight up. You know I'm American, right? Plus I'm on a time constraint. "Hope that's not a problem. I'm trying to become the world's first American chav." It's like, "You're too funny. American, but you're too funny to be American. Groovy, let's go for a pint sometime in a couple weeks." I'm like, "Okay, here's the proverbial deal. Taking a short trip to Sweden, but back in Brightonville Sunday." So in other words, I was flying out to Stockholm actually to do a boot camp on that weekend. So basically, I had to time bridge it. So talk to you later, TTYLKITLIOMG. She says, "Groovy, enjoy Sweden. Fuck knows what your last line meant, but I like it. Keep in touch." I'm like, "Talk to you later, keep in touch," like, oh my God, Sunday. So interesting, she's like, "Oh, balls, I somehow assumed you were in Brighton." Oh no. Because what I had actually changed my city to London to set up some leads for when I went to London in the following week. So I'm like, "No, I'm going to be in Brighton." I just switched it to London to appear more cosmopolitan. Okay, so she's like, "Have fun in Switzerland. Bye-bye. I know it's Sweden. I'm one funny motherfucker, brap brap." I'm like, "Yes, like when some guy in Austria copied my OKC profile word for word, verbatim, and I told him I was coming to kill him in Australia." It's like, both are hilarious that some guy copied it and you referred to Australia. Are you shitting me? I hope not. So in Sweden, enjoy. I go, "Look," and I sent her this. Because this is the guy that actually like copied my profile. I didn't actually report him, but I just sent him this message. "Report it to OkCupid for your faggotry, kill yourself." He's like, "Sorry, I see this was a pussy thing I did. I have deleted it." I'm like, "Too late, motherfucker. I'm coming to kill you in Australia." So yeah, I'll come to kill you too if you copy my shit. But I know you will, and there's no way for me to actually kill you in Australia or anywhere else, really. I really don't care. So anyway, so I get back, and then I'm like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" It's like, "Hey there, sounds good, but not today if that's cool. Just got back from a weekend away, so tired, blah, blah, blah. Fancy a beer? How about tomorrow?" Tomorrow is good. I tell her, "Meet me at Freemason by Brunswick Square, say 8. And again, this was literally some pub that's right around the corner from where I was staying. It's like, wow, you certainly have a way with words. How could I refuse? So I say, yeah, she's going to be there in 10, look for the dead rodent haircut. And here we are on the romantic date. And we engaged. Look at this fucking hair. Wow, that was pretty epic, wasn't it? So anyway, yeah, we had a little affair. And then when I went home, I sent her this. Airport security found your knickers. They snuck in the luggage with all the suspicious electronics. Raised a bit of an eyebrow, they did. It's like, shut up, miss you already. Currently having a glass of, I guess, wine and a roasting. Yum yum, safe trip, douchebag. Boom. And the knickers in with the electronics. The memories of love. Okay, so here's a pretty DTF one from the magical realm of Tinders. And this young lady, she says, your About Jeff is the best ever. Of course, she's referring to my Tinder blurb, which says, I'm a greasy, bare-chested douchebag, completely self-absorbed, with little or no redeeming qualities. I have a gold iPhone 5S. Hit yes. So, yeah, so I say, I'm happy you like it. Now, the thing is, if the girl messages you first on Tinder, that's like a huge sign of DTF-ery. The reason being, she already had to swipe right in order to actually even initiate the conversation with you, and then she actually sends the first message. That's like all hands on deck, motherfucker. It's time to pull the trigger almost immediately. So she's like, you live in the city? Like her like little attempt to flesh it out, right? I'm like, yeah. Now she doesn't respond to that because I gave her really nothing to work with, right? I just said, yeah. So then the following day, 4 p.m., I say, okay, I send the prefab opener. And again, sometimes I'll do that just to get the ball rolling, even if she messaged me first. And she's like, well said, how can I resist? I say, I'm going to assume that's a rhetorical question. Perhaps we should go on a date. Sounds dreamy. I would love to go on a date with you. I'm like, damn, that was relatively straightforward. She's like, I like straightforward. I'm like, below, please find my telephone number. And she then responds, haha, you really are awesomeness. Here's mine. Let the romancing begin. So now let's go ahead and take a look at a category of interaction that I call very straightforward or textbook. And what's going to happen here is basically the funnel's just going to run and she's just going to hop on it, and it's going to be like first message, again, control 1, she responds, then I just hit basically control 2, brr, second message, she responds positively to that, and then I go brr, control 3, go for the number. So again, it's going to run through that funnel, very straightforward, very textbook. And I would say the vast majority of my hookups from OkCupid and Tinder do actually go like this. I mean, I'd say probably about 40%, maybe not, maybe like 30%. It's hard to quantify. I'm just kind of saying this off the top of my head. And then another 30% will require more fleshing out. And then another like 15% will be when she messages you right off the bat. And then there's some others that the rest just kind of fizzle out or like, I don't continue. Again, that's just off the top of my head. But anyway, so let's have a look at some very textbook examples of going through the funnel and getting the number. So with these so-called textbook ones, you're going to notice a pattern similar to what we saw in the previous section with the DTF ones, in that it's going to be very straightforward. There's not going to be a whole lot of beating around the bush. I'm just going to bang, 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 send out the 3 prefab messages, hit her with the number, and take it to the phone as soon as possible. The only difference here being that in these cases, most of the time at least, she didn't message me first, and or she maybe didn't seem super enthusiastic about meeting up straight from the get-go. So let's have a look. This first one, obviously I matched this woman very highly, over 90%, because I sent her the variant on the initial prefabricated message, the Control-Shift-tilde variant. Anyone who matches me as highly as you usually turns out to be crazy as shit. Yes, I know what that says about me. Regardless, I feel you appear attractive and consequently would like to explore the possibility of enhancing your life by means of exposure to my awesomeness. K, thanks, bye. So, she says, I don't even know where to start. I laughed out loud several times whilst reading this message and your profile. Let's rock. Now, interesting, you're going to notice as we go through all these threads, both the message threads, my phone threads, and even when you see me out on the infield in the dates, the girls will frequently, be laughing. They'll say that they find my profile humorous, my pictures humorous even for that matter. And obviously that's a huge thing for your success online is the ability to be funny. She needs to know that if she goes out with you, it's going to be an enjoyable time. You're not going to be like some dour motherfucker, some like sourpuss, or even worse, just boring. Okay? So humor, a lot of people say, well, I'm just not funny. Well, you know, humor can be cultivated. It's something you can work on. I've taken a couple improv workshops, a stand-up workshop, and it helped me tremendously to improve my general sense of humor, timing, rhythm, etc. So again, it's a skill that can be developed, and I'd suggest you take pains to do so. So anyway, so then she says, let's rock. So that's a pretty enthusiastic response. So I'm just going to go bang, bring up the date right away. Yes, I believe I'd like to take you for a romantic date featuring magic in the mist. She says, I'll only go if there's a stained mattress in the back of your pedo van. Of course there is. Yeah, cool. So Pra's best thing. So I hit her with the number, and she texted me back, and we went out. Great success. So the next one here, this one's kind of interesting because she initially messaged me in September of 2012, and I actually didn't respond until May of the following year. I guess I was just mopping up some old emails. Maybe I'd taken a little hiatus from the site, a little vacation from the site, and you know, I just wanted to go back and mop up those old mails before I started a new cycle. So I just hit her back with basically the same thing she said to me, because this is really non-committal. This could go either way. She doesn't seem enthused necessarily, even though she did hit me up first. So I say hi. She says, hello. I go, so what's this all about? She's like, what do you mean by this? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, LOL, cool. I don't know either. My impressions are hilarious. Beyond that, I say, you're cool. I want to take you to the mall. It's like, OMG, I love the mall. Like, I love you. It's like, LOL, you say that to all the girls, I'm sure. Like, I don't talk to girls. I fucks with grown-ass women. Of course. Thank God. She's like, is your ass... I'm like, is your ass hyphenated? Grown ass. Is your ass hyphenated? I think anything ass is hyphenated. So I'm like, all right, this is going pretty well. We got a little back and forth. So I'm just like, let's go on a fucking date. Now, again, I note that I was jokingly referring to going out here, but then she kind of steered it away, and then so I steered it right back to the date. It's like, as long as it's to the mall, I'm like, Sky Mall. It's like, nice. I mean, yes. Okay? So I had to time bridge this really shortly over the weekend because I was on boot camp in Austin, I believe. I'm like, I'm in Texas this week. We should keep in touch, KIT. Just so she knows that, you know, there's going to be some little radio silence here. And then when I hit her back up, she doesn't think that I just, like, lost interest. So I get back a couple days later, hit her with the number. She says, too funny, this is me, gives hers. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So this next one, I hit her with the prefab message, oh, hi there. And she says, okay, but only if you really don't own flared pants anymore. Also, this kitten sometimes does lose her mittens. Oops. Now, interestingly enough, you'll notice she culled a couple things from my profile to mention and talk about. My profile is littered with these little hooks that a girl can, you know, interesting things that might be a conversation starter. And, you know, in the previous section, you notice I was berating a lot of the guys for having very blank messages that didn't really tell much of their personality, didn't really have any hooks. They were just kind of these blank ciphers who were into self-development. So you want to pepper your profile with little hooks that the girl can talk about. And note, here, this one, she's like, the flared pants, that's actually from a caption of one of my photos, the in and out one. So these hooks can be in your captions, they can be in the content, they could even be the pictures themselves. But you want to populate your profile with those kind of hooks. So anyway, she's like, I sometimes lose my mittens. I'm like, then you shall get no pie, according to the legend of the kittens who lost their mittens. It's like, I don't even like pie, but I love legends. Okay, so she's engaging, so I'm like, so I go with a bit of a ridiculous over-the-top compliment. I feel something special. I've never felt this connection before. I think you're the one. I want to open up, but I'm scared. She's like, oh dear, what's your name? Okay, so now she's engaging pretty hard. Not pretty hard, but at least this is engagement, right? So my name's Jeff, bam, romantic date. It's like, my name is blank, magic in the mist, do tell. I'm like, yeah, like Twilight with the mist and the love out on the town. Again, there's not like, she asked me to elaborate, but I don't really go into it. I just give like kind of this very shruggy sort of, but it's still actually fun, right? So again, no qualification, but it's still keeping it lighthearted and fun. So she's like, but will there be beer? Because there should be. I'm like, I'm in complete agreement with this. I like her. This is fucking on. Hit her with the number. You'll get a text message from an Iowa number because that's where I grew up. Okay? So this one, she's like, I'm like, hi there, blah, 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 blah. She's like, what took you so long? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm here now. Again, riffing on that, then hit her with the second one. I believe I would like to take you for a romantic date featuring Magic and the Mist. The new Twilight film is coming out soon. Perhaps you should like to accompany me to the premiere. It's like, what should I wear? I'm like, something hot. So, you know, the thing is, saying something hot, people say, well, isn't that sexual? Right? The thing is, it's fairly innocuous. Hot, that could be any number of things. Like, damn, that's hot. You know, whatever. So it's just skating the edge of that. Again, this is kind of you can allude to sexuality, and I feel this kind of toes that line. So she's like, red silk, open back. Yow. So I'm like, yes, whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sure, it'll be fine. What a fucking dick. Yeah, cool. So hit her with the number. I'm like, not a lot of hemming and hawing with this fellow. She's like, maybe you buzz me. I sent mine. Boom. Now that's interesting because I used to just do this blank here with like just giving my number, but I feel that a lot of girls might have a kind of a rule like girls don't message first, the guy messages first. So now I'll append to this. I'll say really, and then I'll just say what's yours, right? So if she has that kind of rule in her head, it gives her the opportunity to give hers as well. So I messaged her, and then I didn't hear back from her for several days, and but the thing is, I didn't care, right? Because I have so many leads on the go. I mean, it did kind of suck because this chick's really hot. I was really, on the one hand, part of me, I know I'm supposed to be disconnected until I actually go out with them, but part of me was like, oh, I hope this one pans out. You know, you can indulge that as long as you don't get too obsessive about it. But anyway, so she didn't, but I have so much on the go, I didn't even really notice. I didn't send her more stuff. I wasn't like trying to say, what happened, or any of that nonsense. I just let it go. And then to my surprise, she's like, sorry, my phone got shut off. Your text was the last text I received this morning. Like, shut off, okay? You're a bit of a train wreck, so-and-so, but I accept you. Takes one to know one, I suppose. She's like, I think I'm pretty worth coming with my current state of being. Most systems, civilizations set up, one must start from the bottom up, thank you. What does that mean? I have no idea. All I know is I went out with this chick for several months after this, after we hooked up on the date. She was super hot, and then she moved out of the country. I suppose if she moved back, we'd date again, but still. Memories. So, so moving right along here. So this is a bit of an old school one from 2011. I'm like, hi, well, I feel you appear attractive and consequently would love the opportunity. She's like, I won't lose my mittens. Also, your screen name is as fucked as your haircut. Like, fantastic. It's very difficult to find a kitten who won't lose her mittens. There's an Eagles song about this. Anyway, yes, I should like to take you on a romantic date quite soon. My mom got me a gift card to P.F. Chang's, so we should probably go there, huh? That or Olive Garden in Colma. When you're there, you're family. Now, note here, she kind of made a negative thing. Your screen name fucked as your haircut. I just ignore that. Again, frame control it. If it doesn't help you, ignore it and redirect. So I'm like, yeah, so I embellish on the kittens thing. Then she says, ha ha, that's her only response. So then I'm like, okay, then never mind. You do not deserve mom's gift card. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I honestly thought you were joking. Your screen name is Taco Chode. I'm like, no, I was joking, although my mother actually did send me a fucking P.F. Chang gift card for my birthday, which I thought was kind of cute. Thanks, Mom. Also, I add, you look pretty hot, pretty cool. You're like a baby polar bear sliding down a rainbow into a pot of gold with unicorn. So this is very straightforward here. I'll elaborate a little, improv a little tiny bit, just to riff off this, explain the gift card thing a bit, and then I just drop a ridiculous over-the-top compliment. She says, that might be the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. I hit the number. She's like, does that make you Jeff? I say, yes. She says, that's my dad's name. Weird. I'm studying for finals the next couple weeks, but here are my digits. Boom. I say, fuck that punk. I'm your dad now. Then it goes to the phone. Oh, Jeff, you rascal. Okay, so here's a very textbook one from the world of Tinder, and I just send the standard message. She replies, you're a babe, expose me to your awesomeness. So a very enthusiastic response, which tells me that I can just move it right along the funnel. So I'm like, oh, cool. Well, okay, I believe I should like to take you for the date. She's like, fun. I like mist and magic. Again, she's compliant. She's enthusiastic about it. So why clutter it up with bullshit? Just put her through the funnel. So I'm like, yeah, I like that shit, Twilight. It's like, I believe I should like a burger and a cocktail featuring bourbon. Mist optional. I like her already. I'm like, okay, what's your number? For romance arrangement purposes, boom, she gives the number. So those were all examples of very textbook, very straightforward interactions. But like I said, it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes you're going to have to flesh it out a bit more and there'll be room for improvisation. And in these instances, I find it might go back and forth like 10 times as opposed to just the straight 3 in number. These could be better in a way because then when you actually get out on the date, you do have you've done a little bit more of the heavy lifting already with the game, so to speak. So it seems as though you know each other a bit more. Again, I have no preference for one or the other, but I kind of noticed that. So let's go ahead and let's have a look at instances where I had to flesh it out and I had to improvise along the way and ended up getting the phone number. This first one, I hit her up with the standard message. She responds, "You're awfully confident. And how exactly will my life be enhanced?" And I say, "In a good way." Again, always go for the bare minimum of qualification. Don't be like, "Well, it's because this and this, and I drive this car, and da-da-da-da." No, it's just like, in a good way. It's like, I have a response. It's a positive response, but it's like the equivalent of a shrug. It's like, in a good way. It's like, "What's your name?" So she's interested. She's interested to an extent, but not quite on the hook yet. This is just very straightforward. Kind of almost skeptical, I'd say. So my name's Jeff. It says on the first line of the profile, LOL, little teaser. It's like, I do that all the time on here. Like, do what? I love you. Do you love me yet? Again, keeping it man to woman all through. It's like, I ask for a name when it's right in front of my face. I'm blank. Maybe I've told you that already. Do you tell all the girls you love them after 2 messages, or am I special? How was your weekend? Do anything fun, or did you chill and take it easy? Again, she's trying to, now she's engaging. Now we're actually getting somewhere. But I think it needs more. So I'm like, I rarely take it easy. I'm a jet-setting iconoclast who's changing the fucking world. And I'm doing that, as you can tell, if you're watching this right now. I was in Vegas this weekend. Yep, I'm on the plane now. Yay, Virgin in-flight wireless. Again, just little value-giving anecdotes that don't require her to think. It's just painting a picture of what my life is like. Heading home, then straight to Maui for my friend's wedding. Do I tell all the girls I love them? You don't look like a girl to me. You look like a grown-ass woman. It's like, wow, what a life. When do you have time to date? Have fun in Maui. Weather's not so pretty in SF. You're right, I'm a grown-ass woman. I've got boobs and a menstrual cycle and everything. I go, sounds great. Look, people make time for things that are important to them. What could be more important than dating women with boobs and menses? Menses? It's like, I can't think of anything more important than that. So now we got a great banter going. So now I'm going to hit her with the message, right? Or with the text. Or the number, excuse me. Like, thank God we're on the same page. Please text me. It's my number for romance arrangement purposes. Here's my number, though not as cool as yours. Okay, so this next one, obviously she matched me quite highly, so I hit her with the variant on the standard message. And she replies, I can't figure out if you sound really cool or terribly frightening. Guess that says something about me as well. I'm like, I'm probably both, really cool and terribly frightening. What if I told you I wear weed, cheese, bacon boots? Now, what I've done here is I went to her profile and I actually mined it for some information about her, for some hooks on her end that I could flesh this interaction out with. And she said she liked weed, cheese, bacon, and boots. So I combined them into one glorious item, weed, cheese, bacon, boots. And then I hit her with the prospect of the date, keeping a man to woman. So she's like, I think I would be inclined to smoke or eat your boots. Your date proposition makes you sound like Aladdin. You're going to take me on a magic carpet ride? Maybe a magic carpet munching ride. But of course, I'm not going to say that because it's vulgar, even though it is pretty fucking funny. But I'm like, figuratively, yes. Maybe I'm alluding to that with that. It's like, yeah, cool. So prob's best thing. So I hit her with the number. She texts me back. I went out with her, and I hooked up with her, I believe, twice. And then she disappeared into the ether. Back into the ether, she goes. Back into the internet ether. All right, so check out the next one here. So again, I hit her with the standard message. She responds with, the bravado of your message made me laugh. And I respond, well, that was sort of the idea. I like how you're a workout dork and also you are age appropriate. So obviously this chick was probably like 30 or something. And so, again, I mined her profile for a couple things and I flesh it out with that. Then straight to back to business. I believe I should like take you for a date. It's like, age appropriate? I can't believe I'm allowed out unsupervised. I'm shocked when people ask me if I'm married or have children. I think I'm not old enough for that, even though in some cultures I should be a grandma. But thanks. Okay, sounds fun. So bam, once she expresses interest in the date here, then I hit her with the number, she hits me back, and it's on. All right. So this one, again, I hit her with the message. She says, "You're probably insane and appear attractive. I mean, wow, General Durr, charming the pants off me in a mere 2 sentences. Please do explain the levels of awesomeness I will be privy to, should I accept your invitation of exposure." That sounds gross. I think, maybe that was intentional there, that word choice. I don't know, I've never felt this connection before. I think you're the one, so I hit her with the over-the-top compliment. Then she says, "You can't claim awesomeness and then act like a wiener. It's against the rules." A bit of a gentle congruence test here. I hit her back with, "So what? I'm a cop one day from retirement who doesn't play by anybody's rules, not even his own." Figuratively. Callback humor. Or actually, there was no callback humor, but I use that word a lot, I guess. She's like, "All right, looks like I'm going to have to guess what makes you awesome then. Here's what I imagine. You wrestled a tiger in Bangladesh until he begged for mercy. You're a regular Robin Hood, saving society from the evil powers that be by fighting against the man. Your mind is a colorful abyss of creativity and whimsy, so much that you advise Steve Jobs and Bill Gates simultaneously. Last but definitely not least, your looks could make a grown man cry. Your rugged beard and strong shoulders make even the iciest women melt and beg for you to take them upon your noble steed and ride off into the sunset. How's that?" Now, again, she's investing quite a bit here, so we're getting somewhere. I just respond, "No, I did vomit on a great white shark, however, off the coast of the Cape of Good Hope." That's a true story, actually. I forgot the Dramamine. It was really choppy out on the Cape that day. So she says, "Okay, then, that's good enough for me. I became ill. I forgot the Dramamine. I'm really putting my best foot forward here, huh?" So yeah, then I steer it back to the date. "I believe I should like to take you for a romantic time in the mist." It's like, "You're doing an excellent job of intriguing me. Romantic time in the mist sounds like Lord of the Rings." So I don't respond for a day. Then she hits me back. Okay, so again, that's pretty good. "Where's the romantic mist? I'd like to see it." Like, you can't see it. It's ephemeral, ethereal even. She's like, "Ephemeral could work too. The power is yours." Hits me with the fucking phone number. Okay? And I guess I didn't hit her up because like a week later, she sends me, "A girl like you is a moron for not messaging a guy like me that has such a high match rating." I'm like, "Wait, you're a man?" I don't know. Okay, here's another good one that took some fleshing out. So I go, "Oh, hi there. I feel you appear attractive." Now, this girl, in her profile, she actually had 2 things that struck me. She's like, "If you have message me if you have a rapier wit and a heart of gold." Now, it's funny because on my profile it says, first things people usually notice about me, rapier wit, rapier van. And also the van, I don't know if you knew this, but its official name is the Heart of Gold, after the ship from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But so that, I broke from convention here a little, and I decided to flesh it out a bit more and talk about her profile because it was such a huge coincidence. So, like, P.S., I did not change my profile to say I have a rapier wit. That was already there. And the van literally is named Heart of Gold as well. It is painted on the front right quarter panel. Very odd coincidence, which most likely means we are soulmates and should have unprotected sex. Now, again, I know never talk about sex, but I was like, just here. I said, fuck it. I was just feeling frisky. And it's certainly not my MO by any means, but, on occasion I'll mess around with like things like Apocalypse Opener and stuff like that. But I just felt, fuck it, go for it. So she's like, "Hi, Jeff. Wow, already talking about penetration so early in the game. I got to go to work, but I'll be talking to you later." Like, it is amazingly serendipitous, which leads me to cast aside convention in such a bold manner. "I believe I should like to take you for a romantic time. Talk to you later." So she then responds a couple days. This is like, again, 3 days later. "Good morning, Jeff. I just gave my undivided attention to your cyber letters. I got to say, I'm pretty jazzed that you have a rapier van named Heart of Gold. I hope you rolled up the windows, because I don't want my behind to get wet when I sit down in it. Convention be cast aside with you." So she's into it. So now I can go for the close. I hit her with the number. Bang. Went out with her. I still see this girl, actually. So, this is, 2 years later. So, anyway, I got one more for you in this category, so let's check it out. At least one more on OkCupid. So she says, "Anyone who matches me as highly as you usually turns out to," or I say this. So I hit her up. She responds, "You sort of seem like trouble, but fuck it, I'm game. Expose me to your awesomeness." Like, she's like, balls in your court, motherfucker. So I'm going to have to, I'm like, wow, very concise. It's hot. Hit her with an over-the-top compliment. I'm scared. She's like, "You probably should be." I'm like, "I seem like trouble. Hey, what's the worst that could happen? Going out with some old-ass motherfucker from the internet?" She's like, I'm probably too young and naive to realize you're being facetious. So that sounds like a great idea to me. Like this chick is like 21 years old, right? So I'm like, she misspells naive. So I correct her spelling, a bit pedantic, but then I kind of tongue-in-cheek it here. I'm like, see, there you go again, being all young with your misspellings and your Bieber. It's like, see, I clearly need your guidance. So this is good back and forth, but I'm really not getting the idea that she's super enthused about it quite yet. I also happen to be traveling. So I'm currently in Miami partying my face off. I've been doing so every night for the past 3 weeks until 6 a.m. However, upon my triumphant return to the city, take you on a date. Thoughts? She's like, I'm into it. This is interesting. You're pretty much the only person so far who hasn't messaged me with some bullshit like, wow, you're pretty cute, LOL, I'm a laid-back guy, let's ride our bikes to the farmer's market. Again, really see the deluge of boring shit that these girls are getting. So again, being a little quirky without going into that weird, edgy pickup guy zone, it's going to give you points, as she says, points for you. When are you back? I say, I suck my own dick at the farmer's market for money. I'm leaving today, so I should be there in about 8 hours. In San Francisco, not the farmer's market. So then she's like, where are you going to take me out on the romantic date featuring the Magic in the Mist? I just hit her with a number. She hits me back on my telephone, and I went out with her. And I actually dated this girl for several months as well. Okay, so here's a fleshing out one from Tinder. So hit her with the standard message, and she says, yes, please, ready, go. Now, interesting. So she's enthusiastic, but she's also putting the ball in my court to see where I'm going to take it. So I respond, I get a little crazy here with the elaboration, which I'm sometimes prone to do. I say I recently had a long flowing mullet haircut. I have a guitar filled with booze. It's called Booze Guitar. I took it to the park today. I have a conical burr grinder and an AeroPress. My mom got me a gift card to P.F. Chang for my birthday. This can all be yours. Chang's awaits you. Like, damn, that's the most I'm willing to elaborate on the awesomeness ever. I guess I was just in a mood. It's like, I feel so lucky. Finally, someone who fulfills all the requirements of my soulmate checklist. Now, I get the impression she's kind of patronizing me here. So I say, I get the impression you're patronizing me. That's called going meta. You know, it can be very powerful. It shows you have social intelligence. It's like, absolutely not. My heart is aflutter. Although after checking your modeling portfolio, I'm a little more in the mood for some In-N-Out than P.F. Chang's. Like, why is that? Sometimes I just really like eating hamburgers. I'm like, oh, because I'm on the bench at the In-N-Out. Doi, right? I need to go on a fucking diet, to be honest. Summertime's near. Spent a lot of winter in Alaska and Canada. I had to fatten up. So again, I'm fleshing it out a little bit more here before I get to the point where it sounds like she's enthusiastic about the meetup. I don't really get the feeling that we're mutually sold on this yet. So she's like, sounds manly. What were you doing there? Teenagers. Oh, Jeff. It's like whenever I go to Canada, it's funny because people always will ask me up there like, so what are you doing up here in Canada? I'm like, 2 things, poutine and teen poon. So she's like, oh, how nice of you. I'm sure it's refreshing for the indigenous people up there to be able to fuck outside the family tree. I'm like, I am now an expert at Eskimo kisses. Sent a little emoticon of a nose kiss. She's like, my girlfriend went to visit another friend who lived in Alaska. She overheard the following conversation at a bar. Male, Coors Light. Bartender, Coors Light, that's what pregnant bitches drink. I love that place. They keep it real. I say, I love you. You keep it real. She's like, duh. I go, perhaps you should go on a date. So now we've got this rapport going. So now I'm willing to actually bring up the prospect of the date and see if she bites. She's like, so you're going to take me something really foggy and do some Magic Mike dancing for me after P.F. Chang's, of course. I'm in. Or Olive Garden because I have a gift card there. But you really need to watch your carbs these days. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I'm on a fucking diet. So you have to give up some calories for alcohol because I'm pretty sure the only way we'll be able to tolerate each other is while under the influence. So now we got it's a little kind of snarky banter back and forth we got going here. But overall, the mood is good. I'm liking how it's feeling. So, but again, this is probably the most you'll see me flesh it out ever. Okay. I'm like, yeah, I must have been traveling or something, I think. And bored, like in the hotel. So like, yes, I do something about called intermittent fasting, which allows for drinking. Now next, I'm going to throw over my Tinder screen questions. Because remember, of course, on Tinder, it's hard to know what her personality's like. So I always throw these out. So tell me about yourself. Do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you have tattoos? Do you smoke anything? Do you have tattoos? It's like I drink, but not as much or often as I used to. I'd rather not waste a day being hungover when I could be doing awesome stuff instead. Yeah, right. I've been going out with this girl for a while now, and she drinks quite a bit. It's probably my influence. I'm probably like the bad influence, though. She's like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but sativa is fun sometimes. 2 tattoos. Okay, we got a winner here. Okay? Hard to have any sort of personality on this app. I don't think those questions give any insight. What's interesting about you? I say, I'm gay. Very nonchalant I am on this fucking app. Like, tell me, what's interesting about you? I'm gay. Let's go on a fucking date. It's like, all right, calm down. When and where? Here's my number, really. She called me, we went out, and we're still together to this day. A charming tale. Now, sometimes what'll happen is you'll be having the interaction with her, and then the girl will actually try to make the conversation veer off in a direction that you don't want it to go. Like she'll take it in a boring direction, or she'll try to take it to like a serious direction, and you're gonna have to gently be able to steer it back the direction you wanna go, which is of course man to woman, and back along the funnel. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple examples of that and how I steered it back. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one here. I hit her with the standard message, and she responds, wow, you sound crazy and also entertaining. So, who are? I just say, yes, I believe I should like take you for a romantic date. Also, I don't understand your question. So, who are? She's like, haha, yeah, I don't either. You're a writer? What do you write? Now, again, she's trying to get a little idea of what I'm about here, right? And, you know, that's fine. However, I don't want to get into like boring shit about my job and stuff like that. Especially because, you know, I don't want to be like, yes, I wrote a book called Get Laid or Die Trying. Check it out at your local bookstore, right? So I simply say, I wrote a poem. Would you like to hear it? Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. She had the whole club looking at her. She hit the floor. The next thing you know, Shorty got low, 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 low. Thank you. So this is what we call making generic responses playful. And I'll do this in IRL game as well. But again, I want to steer it back towards that more lighthearted, playful side. So she's like, very nice. Was that about me? I go, that depends. Do you in fact possess the boots with the fur? She's like, I don't, but I do get low. Good enough for me. So I hit her with the number, bang, ended up going out with her. Great success. So let me show you another one here. This one's a little longer. She says, I hit her with the standard message. She responds, wow, where do you like to hang out and what kind of things do you like to do? I'm not sure we might get along. I hang out in the Mission. You were probably able to tell that from my awful haircut. I like to eat and get drunk in the park. So I'm being legit. I'm being authentic. I do like to eat. I do like to get drunk in the park and hang out in the Mission. However, I also I keep it amusing by throwing in a slight self-deprecation about my awful mullety haircut. It's like, I was in the Mission last night, about our work. Parks are nice. I was asking because I mistakenly got a marina feeling from your profile. I guess that's like the douchebag part of town here in San Francisco. So I send her, I just go, right? Then I say, yo, check it out. I like the idea of you and how you look. I believe I should like to take you for the date. Now, I like the idea of you and how you look. I took that from her profile. I found a little hook in her profile that I could be playful with. She said, I don't like cats, but I like the idea of them and how they look. So I was like, I like the idea of you and how you look, right? So then she's like, haha, okay, let's do this. I'm Wendy. When and where? Bam. Did you change your mind? I didn't respond for like a day. So I go, no, I went to sleep. Yes, it's settled romance in the night with fine wine. Below, please find the number. Boom, hit her with the number. And then she didn't send me a message for like 30 minutes. So I just sent, no messages from you yet. Playing hard to get, I see. Please give me another chance, like in the movies. Another chance to prove to you I'm not new to love. I was just fucking around with that. Like literally, that's a joke. And we did, in fact, go out and I dated this chick for like a year. Very exciting. Another kind of interaction that you want to be on the lookout for is one where the girl's responding, but she's actually just giving kind of like short, monosyllabic, non-committal answers. Now, for the uninitiated, they might see this and think, oh, the girl's responding. That means it's going good, right? No, not in this particular instance. again, if she's not actually, if she's responding but she's not actually investing at all, what that could mean is she's probably just bored at work, fucking around, like entertaining herself on OkCupid or Tinder. So in this kind of instance, what I'll typically do is I'll just try to go for the number right away and force the issue. Even if I do get the number, I'm going to understand in my mind that it's probably going to be crap. It's going to be a relatively useless number. But again, stranger things have happened, and in the name of due diligence, I'll actually go ahead and do that. So, but let's go ahead and have a look at an example of one of these non-committal types of girls so you understand and you'll be able to recognize it when you see it. Okay, so I hit this chick with the standard message, and her response is just LMAO. That could be in anything, right? That could be she legitimately thought it was funny, she thinks I'm a fucking idiot, and is giving her a chuckle at work. I mean, literally, it could be any number of things. So I just respond in an equally concise way, Yes, I believe I should take you for a romantic date. Okay, so I just put that out there. She says, oh my. Now, again, an uninitiated person might think, oh, she's responding, this is good, right? But again, she's giving me nothing. Like, how long is it taking her to write these? It's taking her like 2 seconds, less than a second probably to write these responses. She's just non-committal. She's not engaging, okay? So I say, yeah, the date will be romantic like that shit Twilight. There will be 10 gifts presented throughout the date. Here are the gifts: flowers, name bracelet, fine wine, poem, photo booth pictures, crystal. I don't know if that's crystal meth or a crystal or what. Fresh produce, mixtape, stuffed kitten, culminating with dick in a box. She's like, crystal, LOL. I'm like, I know, right? She's like, I'm like, not much of a talker, are you? Concise, I like that. She's like, married? I'm like, yeah, to the game. Which is probably something I shouldn't have said, but again, at this point, I realize the chick's giving me nothing, so I'm just fucking around with her. I hit the number, she doesn't respond. I try to hit her up several times after that, no response. So again, this is what a really non-committal thing looks like. Recognize this when you see it and expend your energy elsewhere. Okay, next, I got a little bit of comedy for you here. And here, let's take a look at a couple of straight up hater shit. You know, this is an instance where the girl, it's not like a congruence test. Sometimes you send this and the girl will just give up straight up fucking insults to you. And again, these are more comical than anything, I'd say. So maybe as a little sort of comic relief here, let's take a look at a couple of fucking haters and see how they can just go fuck themselves and keep hating haters. All right, so here we got our first hater, a 25-year-old from Denver, Colorado. I send my standard message. We have a 96% match. One would think she'd be into it, right? No, she says, LOL. Oh man, that was a crappy first message. I have no idea what to even do with that. So she's not feeling it. I say, you're dumb, LOL. She's like, does this usually work for you? I'm like, sometimes. Why do you care? Okay, well, it's not working now. Blocked. I'm like, what? What did I do? C'est la vie. Hater number 2, I send her, what up, ho? I smoke trees, stack paper, and kill people. Let's go on a fucking date. I was actually experimenting with this style at the time. I think this is, you know, judging by the looks of it, this is the old 1.0 version of OKC, so it was like 2011 or something. But she's like, no, you were that ridiculous guy I met at the Mint, and we would never, ever get along. Like, no offense. You kiss girls too soon. You don't tell them when your friends are there. Plus, your friend already has a crush on me, sucka. You may have stopped reading by now. If not, this would be a good time. Bye. It's like I ran into this chick at the karaoke bar or something while I was on a date with some other chick from fucking OkCupid, who I then proceeded to fuck in the van out front 20 minutes later. Haha, yes, I also have sex with them in a van out front 20 minutes later. That was a fun night. Cheers. Next, standard message. She says, hi, Jeff, you're hilarious. So going pretty good so far. My life indeed was enhanced by the mere reading of your profile. It's a tough day. I totally just LOL. Thanks for the exposure. Okay, cool. So I'll take you for a date. So she seems into it. I'm a stone cold believer. Yes, I am. If you believe it. Sounds like fun. Promise from refrain from ever using the phrase, this is where the magic happens, or any derivatives of such phrase as part of your efforts to woo me. There will be no need to narrate or call attention to the magic on account of the fact that it will be glaringly obvious when it is happening. Hit her for the number. Seems great, right? Well, just look you up. Looked me up. Sorry, but I'm really looking for someone with whom I can connect and possibly pursue a relationship, not a professional player. What a disappointment. I'm like, looked me up? Is this not you? Real social dynamics. Google search for Jeff Heart of Beast. Again, this is a key example of why you don't want to have identifying information in the profile if you have like some kind of pickup blog or anything that could even be like traced back to you professionally. People are crazy. Just even if it's not something like this, people are nuts. You can be stalking you at work and stuff. Like, wow, that's totally not creepy at all. Next, this chick, I'd say, oh, hi there. She's like, I cannot fathom why men message me when it clearly says I'm not into facial hair. Even if you were clean shaved, when I read this, smoke trees, stack paper, and kill people, let's go on a fucking date, I was immediately put off. So strike two, you're out. And good luck with that profile. I'm sure you'll meet some real winners who can fart and burp as loud as you. I say, LOL, you're fat. Again, probably shouldn't be engaging, but if I'm going to engage, it's going to be like the minimum effort possible. Last but not least, the final category of ensuing interaction is where she gives the congruence test. So we're going to take a look at a few examples here right now of how I was interacting with the girl, she threw me the shit test, and I was able to get around it, dodge it, pass it, and then continue things along and actually get the phone number. Okay, so let's take a look now at shit tests, which are related to haters. Relatable hatables. So again, these are some tests that I was actually able to turn around, not just straight up haterade. So I send her the initial message. She says, I can't believe you actually have that van. Why? I don't know. If you didn't have a picture of it, I would think it's BS, but I guess it just could still be. So what makes you have so much awesomeness? She's very skeptical, and she asked me, what makes you have so much awesomeness? I reply, I'm not sure, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say it's most likely a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors such as upbringing. So again, she posits to me like qualify yourself to me why you're so awesome, and I misinterpreted as her saying that, I clearly am awesome. What made this so? She's like, damn, we do match pretty highly. I think we should meet for a drink and see which one of us is the crazy one. So again, I passed the test by a bit of conversational jujitsu there, misinterpretation, and frame control. So then, bam, okay, cool. Go for the number. She hits me back. Next one. Hit her with the fucking standard message. She says, hey, thanks. It's very generous of you. I could probably return the favor. I dare say you could, young lady. Look at you all hot and shit. I think you're the one. I never felt this connection before. What's your name? So again, riff off hers. Hit her up with a fucking ridiculous compliment. Your appearance is cool. She says, probably because I am cool. See, I've never felt this connection before. I think you're the one. I want to open up, but I'm afraid. Hit her with a little more because it is kind of, it is a little bit non-committal still, I'd say, right? So I want to open up for her. She's like, yeah, does that actually work for anyone? Now here you could get butthurt and be like, duh, actually, right? I just say yes. Keep it as simple as possible, right? I say, obviously not you, though. You're different, special. I cannot fool you with my tricks. Confound it, right? Keeping it fun, and then redirect. So anyway, let's go on a fucking date. It's like, maybe. Where would we go? She's still not totally sold on it yet. So I say, somewhere fancy yet casual. So cool you could store a side of beef in it for a month. And so hip, it has difficulty seeing over its own pelvis. I say, hi, I just read this over and I realized I said the same thing twice. I was kind of wasty face. I said, what did I say to her twice? Oh, the connection thing. Idiot. It starts to blur after a while, so you got to keep your shit relatively on point. So then I'm like, I still think you're hot sober, though, so that's a good thing. Emoticon. It's like, LOL, well, thanks. That's the best compliment I've gotten in like an hour. All right, I can do Friday. How's Friday? Now, typically, I don't like to do that, but I think I might not have boot camp that weekend or something, so I was like, fuck it. It seems far away. One of us will probably flake, but hey, let's give it a shot. I'll have Siri pencil you in. These days, too, I probably wouldn't say one of us will probably flake. That's negative, and it's suggesting her that you've been flaked on before, right? So maybe not the best approach. But I hit her with the number. She's like, nice phone number. The week will fly by. Before you know it, you'll be faced with the decision to stand me up or not. Just pick a place where I can enjoy my own company at least while I sit and gaze forlornly out the window, wondering if it was something I said. I like this girl. She gives me her number. Boom. Ready to go. Okay, now this one, I hit her with the standard thing, and she's like, wow. I can't decide whether I think you're a total douche or not, but you seem at the very least entertaining. I'm like, wow, how magnanimous of you. Meaning, like, she's deigning to be nice to me. I think you might be the one. So again, respond to what she said, hit her with a fucking over-the-top, ridiculous compliment. And then I hit her, I read her profile further. I just look at the pics first. Don't lie, you do it too. And it looks like we're basically the same person, which will practically guarantee we hate each other. I'm down if you are. Again, we had like a really high match percentage. She answered all the questions the same. And like I said, when I see those, I know it's either going to be a love or hate thing off the bat. She's like, you're killing me over here. First, a few questions. Do you smoke weed? What do you do for work? Are you really 37? So here we have a combination of trying to steer it kind of logical and kind of giving me shit about my age because I'm like 13 years older than the girl. So I'm like, all right, let me get a little bit real here and drop a little truth on her to kind of placate that. I'm like, I have a garden in the yard. I grow tomatoes, beans, squash, berries, kale, collard greens, leeks, radishes, herbs, and weed as well, which means I have an unlimited supply of weed year-round. It's true. I'm trying to cut down a bit from my previous usage, which was all day, every day. I'm an entrepreneur with several businesses, which I started with money I made from writing. I'm a published author, but probably won't do that again. Also, it says 1976 on my driver's license, so I'm pretty sure that makes me 37, although math isn't my strong suit. It's like a writer, so you weren't kidding about being a douchebag. I jest, mostly. Well, I'm simultaneously disturbed and intrigued, which is probably how I spend most of my life. Name, also, you're old. Gotta make fun of you for that, okay? I don't mean it to be hurtful, it's just really amusing to me. All right? So again, it's pretty amusing to me, too, to be honest, that I'm banging these young-ass girls on here, so I take zero offense at it and just slide right by it. My name is Jeff with a J, so okay, hit her for the date, with the date suggestion. And she's kind of giving me a little more shit. She's a bit of a pill here, right? Okay, my name's blank, and does it have to be romantic in the mist? Like, I meant figuratively, so no. And then just hit her with a number. Bang. I actually went out with this girl, and when I went out with her, she was quite annoying on the date, too. I actually probably hooked up with her for like about a month on and off, like, you know, from time to time. But every time I went out with her, she was just annoying. And so she got cut from the rotation fairly quickly. Okay, so this one, I had contacted her and then it fizzled out. So I hit her up with I feel like we're growing apart, which is something that I'll do to reinitiate, and you'll see that more in the next section. But she responds, I like you, but I skeeve out at Reddit references. Change yourself for me and we can talk. Now, I ain't changing myself for anyone, so I hit her with, bitch, please, fuck Reddit. You think I'm some faggot who jacks off to Richard Dawkins and cute cat pictures? Kill yourself for me, then we can talk. She says, okay, now we're back on. Again, that's like a high risk, high reward type scenario. Be careful with this shit, because I know guys that got themselves banned from OkCupid for telling people to kill themselves. So, again, watch that, but it worked in this case. So I'm like, yes, I figured as much. In any case, I still wish to take you for a romantic time in the night. So boom, hit her with a number. We actually ended up going out. At this point, you should have a very clear idea of the strategy and the tone that you want to adapt in the ensuing message threads. And also how to respond to basically anything that the girl could throw at you and still have a very good chance of making it work.